Sung Yuan-sen was a hardcore homophobe. One day at work he ran into a new coworker. He caught a strong whiff of perfume coming off the guy and turned away in disgust. He couldn't stand people who were so high maintenance. Sung Yuan-sen came from serious money, so everyone in the lab sucked up to him and followed his lead in giving the new guy a hard time. Sung Yuan-sen had never dated anyone, and his friend Jiao Han was worried about it. What's your deal? Like, what are you into? Sung Yuan-sen slammed his fist on the table, and the image of that perfume-drenched new coworker popped into his head. Xiao Han was startled by his reaction. I'm just asking, do you have to freak out like that? Sung Yuan-sen shot him a look of pure disgust. Xiao Han paused for a second. I'm starting to think that's you. Sung Yuan-sen wanted to punch him. I'm straight. End of story. I got stuff at the lab. I'm out. He got in the car and buckled up. When his phone suddenly buzzed with an unfamiliar notification, he unlocked it and found some app he'd never seen before. Someone called me was requesting a match with him. He went to decline, but accidentally hit accept. Right then, Jiao Han called. Sung Yuan-sen, did you get my gift? Jiao Han, I knew this was you. I already told you. I'm straight. Relax, I didn't use your real info to sign up. Just have some fun with it, no strings attached. Sung Yuan-sen was furious. I'm deleting it right now. And he hung up. But just as he was about to uninstall the app, Mew suddenly sent a voice message. Hey there, Andrew. I'm Mew. The voice was light and breezy, soft around the edges. Sung Yuan connected that. It was his new coworker Fang Zhou. He uses this app too. How many guys has he been meeting on His disdain for Fang Zhoumu grew even stronger. So he shot back a lazy dismissive reply, what do you want? Fang Zhoumu had no idea who he was really talking. All he knew from the profile was that Andrew was a Chinese-American mechanical engineer with an 8-pack. When the reply finally came, Fang Zhoumu was thrilled. He sent back a voice message asking. Fang Zhoumu had almost forgotten how long it had been since he talked to someone. Back in school he'd had plenty of friends, but ever since becoming an engineer there was no one to talk to. On top of that, the people in the lab kept giving him a hard time for no reason. Especially that one guy Sung Yuan-sen. He was the worst of all. Fang Zhoumu had no idea what he'd ever done to set him up. He waited a long time with no replies from Andrew. Fang Zhoumu checked the app, then decided to send another voice message. The app says we're only like 2 miles apart. We could meet up pretty quick. Is this your first time using this app too? Whenever you're free, we should grab a drink sometime. Andrew was super slow. He was just about to put it down when the reply finally came. Fang Zhoumu thought the guy sounded kinda passive-aggressive. So he shot back. Isn't that the whole point of this app? To make friends? Andrew ignored the question and asked if Fang Zhoumu used this app a lot. This is my first time too. You're the first match I've ever gotten. Which made Fang Zhoumu feel like he was chatting with a robot. He wanted to mess with the guy. So why are you even on this app? Are you too shy to find a boyfriend in real life? Andrew replied with 2 words, no way. Yeah, I think so. Hao Fanmo kept poking at him. You won't even send me a voice message. Half a minute later a voice message finally came through. Fang Zhoumu tapped it and listened. No. Andrew's voice was low and flat, like a robot with the emotions still. The deadpan denial cracked Fang Zhoumu up completely. He pictured Andrew as some cute shy short-haired guy with a boyish grin. After laughing for a while he sent back a voice message. Andrew, you are such a dork. I bet all your engineer coworkers are just as awkward as you, right? Nobody's ever hyping you up, so I can tell. Andrew, you have a really great voice, and those apps don't hurt either. Sung Yuan-sen listened to the whole thing and rolled his eyes. What a waste of time. And he uninstalled the app. In real life, they couldn't stand each other, but somehow they ended up connecting on a dating app. Fang Zhoumu had always thought the quiet Andrew was a total sunshine boy next door. Then she met him in person and realized he was Sung Yuan-sen, the one who'd been leading everyone to freeze her out. That night she was sick for a long, flushing every last dream she'd had about Andrew straight down the drain. When the awkward small talk first started, Sung Yuan-sen kept deleting the chat app over and over. When classmates gave Fang Zhoumu a hard time, he just stood back and watched. But then he overheard that Fang Zhoumu was still chatting with some Andrew, and this Andrew was asking her for photos and claiming to be a software engineer too. Sung Yuan-sen completely lost it. He was pretty sure Jiao Han was behind it. He stepped out to the balcony and quietly reinstalled the app, then used face recognition to force Jiao Han's account off. He read through the whole bin Jiao Han and Fang Zhoumu in one sit. He couldn't even let a half-finished conversation. Then his phone suddenly rang. Didn't you say you quit and deleted the app? I was right in the middle of a quick chat with Lu. If you want to chat, go make your own account. Stop using mine. Dude, this app matches you randomly based on location. Okay, now change the password back. Me had this soft sweet voice that was really easy on the ears. No way. Make your own account if you want to use it. Sung Yuan-sen had barely hung up when a message from Mew came, asking if he was really that busy. He typed back, yeah, slammed. He locked his phone and was heading upstairs when he ran right into Fang Zhoumu coming down, bag slung over her shoulder. She had on a loose, light-colored sweater, yanked sideways by the crossbody strap, showing a sliver of pale skin. Sung Yuan-sen glanced over and immediately looked away. As they passed each other on the stairs, Sung Yuan-sen accidentally brushed Fang Zhoumu's arm. That sickeningly sweet scent coming off her made his whole body recoil. He pulled his arm back like he touched something. Fang Zhoumu was speechless. It was just a brush. Did he seriously have to be so dramatic? Not long after he got back to his seat, Sung Yuan-sen got another message from Mew. It's pouring out there. Did you bring an umbrella? Sung Yuan-sen glanced out the window and almost without thinking typed back, did you? Mew sent back a chew tomorrow. No. Guess I'm making a run for it in the rain. Sung Yuan-sen asked if she could just wait for the rain to stop. I don't want to stay in the lab. I just want to go home. Everyone here's so annoying. I gotta go. I'll hit you up when I'm back. Yaoyan King set down his phone and walked to the bay window, just in time to spot Fang Zhoumu's small figure sprinting to the rain. In a downpour like that, she'd be soaked to the bone by the time she got home. Fang Zhoumu got home completely wiped out. She took a hot shower and crashed in bed until mid-afternoon. After a long day at work, Sung Yuan-sen was walking, watching the last glow of the sunset, and for some reason he kept thinking about that figure charging through the rain. The boy had no idea that his online crush was the same person leading a charge to freeze him out in real life. One day Fang Zhoumu was shopping for earrings online and couldn't make up his mind, so he thought of his online friend Andrew and sent him some pictures to get his opinion. Ying-san was pulling a late night at the office and didn't reply for 20 minutes. Any difference? One is bigger, one small, and the smaller ones cost a little more. Sung Yuan-sen zoned out for a sec. His mind flooded with images of how adorable Fang and typed back, get the smaller ones. After hearing what Andrew said, Fang Zhongmo decided the smaller ones did look better. The earrings arrived fast. Fang Zhongmo put them on, snapped a photo, and sent it to Yao, telling him he had great taste. But he waited a long time and never got a reply. He suddenly remembered he hadn't finished his work, so he rushed off to the lab. Your earrings are gorgeous, elegant and refined and totally not fussy at all. Fang Zhongmo got a little flustered. Thanks. A good friend of mine picked them out for me. But just as the two were chatting, Zhang Renyu suddenly walked over and cut them off. Fang Zhongmo, get out once you're done with the equipment. I'm waiting to use it. Fang Zhongmo called the goons of Song Yuanseng standing behind him. He was not about to mess with someone that important, so he said he'd be done in just a minute and asked them to hold on a little long. Zhang Renyu wanted to show off in front of Song Yuanseng, so he deliberately walked over and started crowd. Fang Zhongmo backed up until he had nowhere left to go, and he couldn't step aside or Zhang Renyu would ruin his specimen. So he grabbed a folder and held it in front of us, slapping him. What was he trying to do, getting all up in his face like? Just checking on the equipment's progress. Just as Zhang Renyu kept inching closer, a hand suddenly grabbed his shoulder. He turned around. It was Song Yuanseng, the very person he found so hard to impress. And he tucked his tail between his legs. Now the closest person to him was Song Yuanseng. Fang Zhongmo felt deeply uncomfortable under his intense, unblinking stare. I'm almost done. There's no need to bully someone like that. Fang Zhongmo kept talking while carefully backing away. But for some reason, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was staring. He looked over. It was Song Yuan. Was he actually checking out my earrings? Once Fang Zhongmo was out of the lab, he finally let out a breath. Just then his phone buzzed. It was from Andrew. He said he couldn't see the face. I sent it so you could see the ear. I didn't even frame my face in the shot. Then it suddenly hit him. Oh, you actually wanted to see my face, but you won't even meet up with me. So what's there to see anyway? Andrew replied that he'd been swamped with work. Fang Zhongmo shot back a little sassily that he was busy with school too. So exactly was he supposed to find time to take pictures? A gust of wind hit him mid-sentence and made him shiver, and he pulled his jacket tighter with that. Then his phone buzzed again. Don't text while you're walking. Fang Zhongmo froze. Was Andrew actually looking out for me? What if the person you fell for online turned out to be same one leading the charge to exclude you in real life? Would you forget them after finally meeting face to face? So one day Fang Zhongmo was out grocery shopping when he got so caught up chatting with Andrew that he missed a step and took a tumble. Everything in his bag went rolling all over the floor. After finally getting everything picked up, he was limping toward the exit when he suddenly ran into Song Yuan. Song Yuanseng had his car keys in hand, but Fang Zhongmo knew full well the guy couldn't stand him. There was no way he'd offer a ride, so he didn't even bother saying hi. He just slipped past and walked away without looking back. Still, he couldn't help but wonder. Song Yuan seemed like he was waiting for some. Hard to imagine who a guy that cold and distant would wait around for. Even harder to picture someone as stuck up as Song Yuan, actually giving even a minute of his time for someone else. Fang Zhongmo had just gotten on the bus and found the seat when the message came in from Andrew. It felt really nice to have someone checking in on him, asking if he was slacking off at work, since he kept blowing up his phone. Andrew took forever to reply with just a simple no. Because someone sure sounds guilty right now. Reading that message hit Song Yuanseng like a bucket of cold water. He couldn't figure out why he'd even driven over just to catch a glimpse of him, or why he'd been messaging him through the app for 3 whole weeks. The first week it was to stop Zhao Han from messing around with his account. Okay, that one was understandable. The second week he planned to just ghost Fang Zhongmo, but somehow they ended up talking even more. But the third week was just plain Sierra. He heard on that Fang Zhongmo was going grocery shop, and the next thing he knew he was driving over there like he was not. He didn't need to buy a single thing. He only felt at ease once he spotted that familiar figure. Fang Zhongmo had snapped a photo of his favorite sent it straight to him. When she saw Fang Zhongmo fall, she desperately wanted to rush over. But what reason did she have to show up? She even dangled her car keys in front of Fang Zhongmo on purpose, then texted him as Andrew suggesting he hitch a ride with a classmate. But Fang Zhongmo shut it down. He said he wasn't close enough to any of them to ask for a ride. That's when it hit Song Yuanseng. Every bit of warm Fang Zhongmo had to save for Andrew. He'd rather limp away then spare a single glance at someone Yim Song. That stung. That night she ended up drinking a little too much with friends. The moment she got home, she messaged Fang Zhongmo, asking if he'd made it back okay. Fang Zhongmo replied all pitiful, saying the bag was so heavy it took him forever to walk home. Then he sent a photo. Look, the bag straps left a mark on my wrist. If only he'd just taken her car. She played it off and replied, looks like someone tied you up. Next time I'll drive you to the store myself. Fang Zhongmo's face turned. Andrew, you're so bad. Song Yuanseng couldn't believe he was this hung up on someone. When he saw Fang Zhongmo take that fall, he just wanted to rush over and catch him. But what would he even say? Who was he to do that? He couldn't stand that sweet milky smell on him. He couldn't stand his tacky fashion sense. The person he liked was the guy from the app, not Fang Zhongmo in real life. Just then, his phone went off. He got asked why he never posted his own photos. Song Yuanseng agonized over it for a while, then typed back that he wasn't much to look at. The other person started apologizing about, I'll send you one of me too deal. A very vivid image popped into his head. Yuanseng buried his face in his hands, drowning in guilt. Okay, yeah, I must be drunk. That's the only reason my mind's going there. In the middle of the night, Zhao Han was deep in the butcher when Song Yuan call came blasting. He wanted to know where the profile picture on the app came from. Welcome to these people. Search a buff guy online and you'll find a million results. But dude, looking that up in the middle of the night, that's weird, Song Yuan knew he was in the wrong and didn't say a word. Then, a second later, it hit Zhao Han. Wait, like don't tell me you finally switched team. Song Yuanseng ignored that completely. Just find the actual guy from that profile pic and send it to me. Then he hung up. Zhao Han was totally lost. He checked the time and completely lost it. Song Yuanseng, what the hell is wrong with you? The next morning when Fang Zhongmo woke up, he found that Andrew had actually sent a photo. That body was absolutely insane, no points. Too bad the face was cropped down. Fang Zhongmo took a screenshot and sent it back, then cleared his throat and sent a voice message. Andrew, you are seriously built. But Song Yuanseng totally missed what he was getting at. Fang Zhongmo couldn't tell if he was playing dumb or genuinely clueless. Then Andrew suddenly asked Fang Zhongmo if that was his type like the guy in the photo. The image of a bright, cheerful, American guy floated into Fang Zhongmo's mind. Yeah, obviously, why else would I have matched with you? But it's just chatting. Like, forcing you to go on a date with me. That was just a joke. So what made you download the app in the first place? That question hit Fang Zhongmo right where it hurt. He asked Andrew if he really wanted to know. He waited a long time but got no reply. If you actually want to know, let's do a voice call. After that, Fang Zhongmo headed out to work. He honestly figured Andrew would say no. But to his surprise, Andrew said tonight works. Just not right now. It's not a great time at the office. Was beyond thrilled. He was finally going to get to voice chat with the adorable Andrew. Meanwhile, Song Yuanson was already scheming on his end. He quietly pulled up an online store. Hey, hi there. Hook me up with a voice changer. Tonight he set up a voice chat, and to hide his real identity, he even bought a voice changer online. After a burst of crackling electronic noise, Fang Zhoumu finally heard Andrew's voice. Hey there, Andrew. Andrew's voice was deep and magnetic, slightly sexy, with this soft, breathy quality to it. Jill, her face go red. That voice is way too good. I'm totally falling for it. Aren't you supposed to be working late? Just a few minutes, Fang Zhoumu already felt strangely flushed. She threw off her blanket to get some air and kept chatting. Andrew, do I know you in real life? Your voice sounds weird. Is customer support? Is the voice changer broken? Fang Zhoumu had been left hanging for a while and didn't know what to make of it. It had just been so long since she'd spoken her native language that Andrew's voice only seemed familiar. That sudden call of her name felt so real. So real, it was like Andrew was right there in front of her. Fang Zhoumu felt a shiver run through her whole body. Just her first name felt way too intimate. Or just call me Xiao Mu. She waited again for a long time. Finally, the other side softly murmured her full name. Andrew was so sweet. But something still felt a little off. Using her full name felt so formal. Just call me Xiao Jiao or Xiao. The call went quiet again for a long moment. Song Yuanson, the remarkably rare was actually shy. He hemmed and hawed forever. quietly called out Xiao Mu. To cover the awkwardness, he changed the subject. He asked Fang Zhoumu when her next shopping trip was. Fang Zhoumu was a perceptive person. Andrew probably wants to meet me. But he's probably worried I won't be a student person. But that once he sees me, the fantasy will be over. So thoughtfully, she gave him an easy out. So I will hold myself again. Song Yuanson twirled his car keys. Is there not a single classmate who could go with you? I'm just used to doing things on my own. If you're used to it, why are you on a social app? Alright, you never said why you downloaded this app in the first place. I mainly wanted to meet other Chinese people. In what way? No. What's the goal exactly? Song Yuanson sounded like he was interrogating himself. The shiver run down her spine. Chum, I'm not like you. You probably had tons of friends in college, but I was always the odd one out at school. Yesterday at the supermarket, I didn't even do anything. They still made fun of me. I know they drove there, but there's no way they'd give me a ride. Not that I'd want to ride with them anyway. The two of them fell into another long silence. Song Yuansheng faintly heard the sound of her crying. And Fang Jiaomu paused. I don't cry that easily. But if you gave me a hug right now, maybe I wouldn't cry. Fang Jiaomu pressed him again. If you don't want to go on a date, why did you even download this app? Song Yuan found a pile of girl. So you registered by accident too. Matched with me by accident. Who are you actually trying to match with? Without questions caught Song Yuan completely wasn't a mistake. And the person I wanted to match with wasn't a mistake either. Pushing, so amazing and so sweet. Why would you need an app to make friends? Song Yuansheng went quiet again for a long time. He thought to himself, what if I'm actually Song Yuansheng? Would you still think I was a good person? What if I told you, that I'm actually Song Yuansheng? Anyone who's ever been in love knows. You just can't hide it when you like someone. Every time you think about them, you just want to kiss them. Song Kang never expected the person he once hated the most would become the one he couldn't stop thinking. A few days ago, he mentioned he had a business trip to Seattle. So he was caught off guard when Miu texted him the next, asking if he needed a ride to the airport. It startled Song Yuan so bad, he dropped his pen on the floor. Luckily, Fan Zhoubu was just messing around. Then Song Yuanson finally let out a breath of relief. He flipped through his textbook, totally distracted. He was really starting to fall for. One lie always leads to 100 more. After Song Yuanson was heading out to grab food with classmates, he checked the time and figured the flight would have landed by now. So he texted Fan Zhoumu pretending he'd arrived in Seattle. Can we do a voice call now? Song Yuanson thought for a long moment, then unbuckled his seat and told his classmates he had to step out to take a call. The way he was sneaking around was honestly hilarious. Such a different vibe, nothing like his usual cool, untouchable self. He put on a soft voice and quietly called her out. Fan Zhoumu was absolutely thrilled. It's raining in Seattle. Don't forget to bring an umbrella. Song Yuanson quickly pulled up the weather for Seattle. Then said firmly he'd be careful. I've got stuff to do, gotta go. And just like that, he hung up. Had just walked in the restaurant with his classmates when a picture message came in from Fang Zhoumu. This place is amazing. I'll take you here when you get back. They got this great couples combo that's totally worth it. After waiting a while with no reply, Fang Zhoumu figured Andrew was just being shy. Yeah, we can just call it a two-person combo. It's way more bang for your buck. Why are you so sensitive about it? After sending the messages, he put his phone and started casually looking around. Suddenly the door swung open, and Song Yingson walked in with his classmates. The two of them locked eyes like it was fate. After a moment, Fang Zhoumu looked down. Of all the rotten luck, guess he should check his horoscope before leaving the house from now. Song Yuanson stood there frozen for a good while before snapped, then walked with his friends to the host stand. Fang Zhoumu didn't breathe easy until he saw them head upstairs. The second floor was the pricey set. Spending like that without blinking, that's a top student for you. Not that Fang Zhoumu was jealous about. When he and Andrew came here to eat, they'd sit downstairs by the window, simple and happy. That's all he ever wanted. Fang Zhoumu had already finished all his soup, but the main course still hadn't come out. That's when his phone suddenly rang. There was a problem with the lab data, and his boss told him he had to go handle it right away. Poor guy didn't even get to finish eating. The other dishes weren't ready, so he couldn't get them to go. But he still had to pay the full bill. He didn't finish dealing with it until past midnight. It was freezing on the way home, and Fang Zhoumu was hustling to get there. He noticed a car trailing behind him, and figured it was just heading the same way. But after following for several blocks, he knew something. Every creepy news story he'd ever read started flooding his mind. Terrified he was about to get kidnapped or worse, he walked another half block and still couldn't shake the car. Fang Zhoumu was seriously staring. On instinct, he called Andrew, who was supposedly all the way in Seattle. There's a sketchy car that's been following me. Andrew, should I call the cops? Song the catfish was quiet for a few seconds before. He asked Fang Zhoumu if he was sure the car was actually following him, while slowly easing off the gas, afraid of losing him. Yeah, it's been on me for 3 blocks now. Fang Zhoumu said, his voice cracking a little. He realized he genuinely scared Jack, so he reluctantly turned down a side street. Fang Zhoumu finally let out a sigh of relief. Andrew is finally gone. Anyone who's ever stalked someone knows, if you get caught, you better have a solid alibi. Song Yuanwen deliberately let Fan Zhou slip away, then called him right after. You home yet? I ordered some food. Send me your address and I'll have it delivered. Fan Zhou scratched his head. Wait, are you trying to find out where I live? Song the scammer didn't even flinch. I'm in Seattle. How would I spy on you? Just as Fan Zhou was about to open his door, he heard a turn signal through the phone and asked if Andrew was in the car. Song Yuanwen's heart skipped a beat. I gotta go talk later. Oh, don't forget to send me your address. Less than half an hour later, the food arrived. Fan Zhou opened the bag and his jaw dropped. It was a couple's meal. No wonder it was so heavy. And wait, why did all this food look so familiar? Sure enough, it was from that same restaurant they'd been to the night before. Andrew, you are seriously the sweet. But a second later, it hit him. He grabbed his phone and texted out. How did you know which restaurant I ate at? Song Yuanwen's heart sank when he saw the message. But he found an excuse fast. He just forwarded the photo Fang Zhou had sent him earlier. The restaurant's name is on the plate in your photo. Song the scammer really lived up to his reputation. Fang Zhou actually bought it. That place never does delivery though. Andrew, how did you even convince them? Because you really wanted it. So I worked my magic. Fang Zhou was almost moved to tears. This semester had been rough, but at least he had Andrew. When you get back, I'm taking you out for a couple's meal too. Thinking about how adorable Fang looked scarfing down, Song Yuanwen couldn't help but smile. He blurted out that they'd see about it when he got back. Did that mean he wasn't planning to eat with her? Andrew paused for a moment, then quietly said no, that's not what he meant. Fang Zhou grinned mischievously. I'm just messing with you. I'll go wherever you want. Song Yuanwen changed the subject to hide his awkward. You're way too thin, you need to eat more. Am I really that skinny? Fang Zhou muttered between bites. You've never even seen me in person. Hey Andrew, you want a video call? When Andrew didn't respond, Fang Zhou did. You don't have to turn your camera on. After a short silence, Andrew finally said yes. Suddenly the couple's meal tasted even better to Fang Zhou. But she waited so long she almost fell sick, still nothing from. So Fang Zhou decided to call the shy Andrew herself. To her surprise, he picked up immediately. He was clearly excited, so why was he playing it cool? Fang Zhou greeted Andrew casually. See, I'm not that skinny, Reg. It was Song Yuanwen's first video call with Fang Zhou and he felt a little deep. He had no idea what to say, so he scrambled for something and told him his earrings were really nice. Fang Zhou's eyes lit up. Of course they're nice, you helped pick them. Song Yuanwen was a hardcore homophobe. One day at work he ran into a new coworker, caught a strong whiff of perfume off the guy, and turned away in disgust. He couldn't stand people he saw as orderly fussy like that. Song Yuanwen came from serious money, so everyone in the lab sucked up to him, and followed his lead in giving the new guy a hard time. Since Song Yuanwen had never dated anyone, his friend Jiao Han was pretty worried about. Your mom's too scared to ask, but I really want to know. What's your deal, man? Song Yuanwen slammed his fist on the table, and that new coworker who always smelled like cologne popped right into his head. Jiao Han was startled by his reaction. I was just asking, do you have to flip out like that? Song Yuanwen made a face. Doesn't that kind of thing gross you out? Jiao Han paused for a second. The loudest homophobes are always the one deep in the closet. I think that's exactly what's going on with you. Song Yuanwen wanted to punch him. I'm straight in the story. I got stuff to do at the lab, I'm out. He got in the car, buckled his seatbelt, and his phone made an unfamiliar notification sound. He unlocked it, and found some app he'd never seen before. Someone called Mew had sent him a match request. He tried to decline but accidentally hit accept. Right then Jiao Han called Song Yuanwen. Did you get my gift? Song Yuanwen, did you get my gift? Jiao Han, I knew this was you. I keep telling you, I'm straight. I signed up with my real info, so just go nuts on there, okay? Song Yuanwen was furious. I'm deleting it right now. And she hung up. But just as she was about to uninstall the app, from Mew suddenly sent a voice message. Hey there, Andrew, I'm Mew. His voice was light and breezy with a warm, soft tone. Song Yuanwen recognized that voice. It was his new coworker Fang Zhou, so he was on this app too. Who knows how many people he'd hit up. It only made Song Yuanwen dislike Fang Zhou more. So he fired back a lazy, what do you want? Fang Zhou had no idea who he was really talking to. Just going off the profile, he thought Andrew was a Chinese, American mechanical engineer with a six-pack. When the reply finally came through, he was over the moon. He sent back a voice message asking where Andrew was. Fang Zhou had almost forgotten what it felt like to chat in Chinese. He used to have plenty of friends in school, but since starting his program, there was no one to talk to. And the people in the lab kept messing with him for no reason. Especially that Song Yuanwen guy. He was the worst. He genuinely couldn't figure out what he'd done to set him off. He waited a long time with no reply from Andrew. Fang Zhou went back to the main screen check and sent another voice message. The app says we're only 2 miles apart. It wouldn't take long to meet up. Looks like this is your first time on here. Whenever you're free, we should grab a drink. Andrew was super to respond, and Fang Zhou's arm got tired of holding up his phone before the reply finally came through. Andrew shot back asking why he was in such a rush. Felt like Andrew had a bit of a snarky attitude, so he fired back. Who into this app? To make friends? Andrew didn't answer that. Instead, he asked if Fang Zhou was on this app a lot. I just started, and you're literally the first person I've matched with. Since Andrew never sent voice messages, with him felt like texting a robot, which made Fang Zhou want to mess with him even more. So why are you even on this app? Are you too shy in real life to find a boyfriend? Andrew replied with 2 words, no I'm not. I think you are. Fang Zhou teased him. You can't even send me a voice message. After half a minute, Andrew finally sent one back. Fang Zhou tapped to listen. No I'm not. Andrew's voice was low and flat, like a robot with no feelings. Fang Zhou burst out laughing at how seriously he denied it, and pictured Andrew as some sweet, shy guy with a short haircut. After a while, he sent a voice message just to roast him. Andrew, you're such a dork. I bet your engineer friends are just as awkward as you. They probably never hype you up. So let me do it. Andrew, your voice is really nice, and those abs even better. Song Yuanwen rolled his eyes after listening. What a goofball. And just like that, he uninstalled the app. In real life, they couldn't stand each other. Yet somehow they'd stumbled into a real connection on a social app. Fang Zhou had figured Andrew, who never said much, was a total sweetheart. That night he was sick for a long time, and flushed every last fantasy he'd had about Andrew straight down the toilet. Back when things were still awkward in the chat, Song Yuanwen kept deleting the app over and over. And when Fang Zhou got picked on by their classmates, he just watched from the sidelines. But then he accidentally overheard that Fang Zhou was still chatting with Andrew, and that this Andrew had been asking for photos and claiming to be a software engineer. Song Yuanxin couldn't play it. He was pretty sure Zhao Han was behind it. He was the one who set the password in the first place. He slipped out to the balcony and quietly reinstalled the app. He used Face ID to force Zhao Han account offline. Then he read through every message between Zhao Han and Fang Zhongyu in one go. Is this guy a human golden retriever or what? He jumped into anyone's conversation midway. Then his phone rang. Didn't you say you deleted it? Miu and I were having a great chat. If you want to use it, make your own account. Stop using mine. Bro, this app matches you with people nearby, you know that, right? Change the password back. Mi's got such a cute, soft voice though. No way. Go make your own account. The moment Song Yuanxin hung up, he got a message from Miu asking if he was really dead. He replied, yeah, super busy. He locked his phone and headed toward the stair, and almost bumped right into Fang Zhongyu coming down with a bag slung over one shoulder. He had on a loose, light-colored sweater, and the strap had pulled it down, showing a strip of pale skin. Song Yuanxin caught one glance and immediately looked away. As they passed each other on the stairs, Song Yuanxin accidentally brushed Fang Zhongyu's arm. That cloyingly sweet scent coming off him made Song Yuanxin's whole body recoil. He yanked his arm back like he touched something. Fang Zhongyu was complete. It was just a brush. Was that seriously necessary? Not long after he got back to his seat, Song Yuanxin got a message from Miu. It's pouring out there. Did you bring an umbrella? Song Yuanxin glanced out the window, and without really thinking, typed back, did you? Miu sent back a cute emoji, no. I'm gonna have to make a run for it. Song Yuanxin asked if he could just wait until it stopped. I don't want to stay in the lab. I want to go home. Those people are so annoying. I gotta go. I'll hit you up when I'm home. Song Yuanxin put down his phone and walked over the window, just in time to see Fang Zhongyu's small figure sprinting through the rain. In a downpour like that, he'd be soaked to the bone by the time he got home. Fan Yu dragged himself home completely wiped out, took a hot shower, and crashed until the afternoon. Song Yuanxin wrapped up a long day and walked home under the golden sunset, unable to stop thinking about that kid who'd run through the rain. Getting shut out by everyone in real life is bad enough, but then the one person he falls for online turns out to be the ringleader who made his life hell. In Fang Zhongyu's mind, Andrew was a sweet shy guy with short hair. He liked to mess with Andrew, asking if he wanted to see his photo. If you want to see it, send a voice message, no more texting, okay? A little while later, Andrew actually sent one. Fang Zhongyu hit play, but Andrew just said in his cold flat voice that he didn't want to see it. Fang Zhongyu hugged his phone and laughed for a good while. You say one thing and mean another. He snapped a quick photo and sent it over. Song Yuanxin stared at the chat, hesitated, then finally opened the photo Miu had sent her. Fang Zhongyu had his shoulder out and half his face in frame, sun-kissed cheeks and those 2 eyes. And Song Yuanxin found himself actually swallowing hard. There were classmates all around him, and the moment Song Yuanxin called himself, he quietly turned off his screen. But the heat in his chest just wouldn't go away. He's actually even fairer in person than in the photo. Right then Song Yuanxin started to put the pieces together. He wanted to delete the app, but he was scared Zhao Han would get back on and keep chatting up Fang Zhongyu, so he decided to just go cold. Maybe if he pulled back, Fang Zhongyu would eventually stop reaching out. Truth is, Song Yuanxin's dislike of Fang Zhongyu wasn't totally out of nowhere. Last year he ran into an old classmate Li Mo on campus, and Li Mo told him that Fang Zhongyu had pulled some shady moves to steal his exchange student spot. He'd used the department's shares connections to cheat his way. When Fang Zhongyu first joined the lab, he wasn't so guarded. He came up to Song Yuanxin and genuinely asked him a few questions. Song Yuanxin already had a bad impression of, and that strong sweet smell didn't help. He snapped at Fang Zhongyu, asking why he doused himself in so much cologne in the lab. Even though Fang Zhongyu insisted he wasn't wearing any, everyone saw that Song Yuanxin was already against the new guy, so they all piled up, taking shots at Fang Zhongyu left and right. Fang Zhongyu was sensitive like that. Once he realized he wasn't welcome, he just went quiet. But that sweet scent around him never faded, no matter what Song Yuanxin said. Song Yuanxin stared at the photo with a long sigh. Fang Zhongyu, who are you really? Andrew had been acting really weird lately. Not picking up calls, refusing voice messages, Why would someone who clearly doesn't want to make friends download a social app in the first place? But the more Fang Zhongyu pushed, the more Andrew started to open a reply more often. Then one day Fang Zhongyu randomly asked if he was talking to anyone else on the app. Andrew surprised him by asking the same question right back. Fang Zhongyu had chatted with a few other people, but they all came at him wanting something sketchy right off the bat. Andrew was distant, sure, but at least he seemed solid. So Fang Zhongyu had deleted everyone else and only kept talking to Andrew. Feeling a little guilty, he told Andrew it was just the two of them. Then he screenshotted his contacts page and sent it over. What about you? Can I see your contacts too? Andrew didn't want to show him. Fang Zhongyu accused him of definitely having 200 contacts. Song Yuanxin went quiet for a long moment, then sent over a screenshot of his friends list. But Fang Zhongyu kept pushing. You took so long, you were definitely deleting people first. Andrew seriously denied it. Fang Zhongyu was thrilled, and switched gears to ask if Andrew wanted to see what he was eating. Andrew said no. Then after a long pause, asked Fang Zhongyu to himself. Clearly he was curious but too stubborn to admit it, so Fang Zhongyu snapped a selfie and sent. Song Yuanxin couldn't care less about the food. His eyes went straight to Fang Zhongyu's face. The poor guy still had no clue that his online crush was the exact same person making his real life miserable. One day Fang Zhongyu was shopping for earrings online and couldn't make up his mind, so he thought of Andrew. Aaron sent him the pictures to help him pick. Was still grinding away at the office that night, and finally replied 20 minutes later, even a difference. One pair's bigger, one's smaller, and the smaller one's cost a little more. Song Yuanxin's mind drifted for a moment, with Fang Zhongyu's cute face filling his head, and he snapped back, get the small ones. Once Andrew said that, Fang Zhongyu was suddenly convinced the small ones were cuter too. The earrings are out fast. Fang Zhongyu put them on, took a photo for Andrew, and told him he had great taste. But he waited forever with no response. Then he remembered he had work to finish, and jogged over to the lab. Your earrings look really nice, elegant and not flashy at all. Fang Zhongyu got a little flustered. Thanks. A good friend of mine helped me pick them out. But right in the middle of their conversation, Zhang Renyu walked over and cut them off. Fang Zhongyu, you done with the equipment? I'm waiting on that. Fang Zhongyu glanced past him at Song Yuanxin. That guy was untouchable. So he just said he'd be done in a second and asked him to hang on. Zhang Renyu, trying to look good in front of Song Yuanxin, deliberately moved into crowd Fang Yaru. Fang Zhongyu kept stepping back until he had nowhere left to go. Not wanting to let Zhang Renyu mess up his sample, he grabbed the binder and held it up as a shield, demanding to know what Zhang Renyu's problem was. Just checking on the equipment's progress. Just as Zhang Renyu kept pressing in, a hand suddenly landed on his shoulder. He turned around, and it was Song Yuanxin himself, the very guy he'd been impressed. Zhang Renyu wilted under Song Yuanxin's and scrambled out of there as fast as he. Suddenly Song Yuanxin was the closest person to Fang Zhou. Fang Zhou squirmed under his intense stare. I'm almost done. Was all that really necessary? Fang Zhou kept talking as he slowly backed away. But for some reason, he had the feeling someone was watching him. He looked over, and it was Song Yuanxin. Wait, is he actually staring at my ear? Fang Zhou didn't breathe easy until he was out of the lab. Then his phone buzzed. It was Andrew. I sent it so you could see the earrings. I wasn't trying to show my face. Then it hit him. Oh, so you actually wanted to see my face? But you won't even meet up with me. How's that gonna work? Andrew said he was swamped with work. Fang Zhou clapped back. I'm swamped with school too. Think I have time to be your personal photographer? He shivered as a gust of wind hit him, and instinctively pulled eject high. Then his phone went off. Watch where you're going. Don't text and walk. Is Andrew actually looking out for me? If the person you fell for online turned out to be the one who'd been making your real life miserable, could you fight it in you to forgive? One day while Fang Zhou was grocery shopping, he got so caught up chatting with Andrew that he missed a step and wiped out, sending everything in his bag rolling all over the floor. He finally got it all picked up, and was limping toward the exit when he ran straight into Song Yuanxin. He had his car keys in hand, but Fang Zhou knew the guy, couldn't stand him. There was no way he'd offer a ride, so he didn't even say hello, just slipped to the side and walked off without looking back. Still, he couldn't help but wonder. It was hard to picture someone that cold and standoffish waiting around for anybody. Even harder to imagine Song Yuanxin, stubborn as she was, giving even a minute of his time for someone else. Fang Zhou had barely found a seat on the bus when Andrew's message came through. It felt so good to have someone check in on him. Fang Zhou decided to tease him, asking if he was slacking off at work. How else was he always texting him? Andrew took a while to reply with just no. Then why does somebody sound a little guilty Song Yuanxin read the message and it hit him like a bucket of cold water. He genuinely felt the need to come see Fang Zhou in person, or why he'd been texting him on this app for 3 weeks straight. The first week, well, he needed to keep Jiao Han off his account. That made sense. The second week he went to go cold on Fang Zhou, but somehow they ended up talking more than ever. The third week was the wildest of all. He'd heard Fang Zhou was heading to the grocery store and just got in his car and drove there. He didn't need to buy a single thing. He only calmed down once he spotted that familiar face. Fang Zhou had snapped photos of all his favorite snacks and sent them his way. When he watched Fang Zhou take that fall, every instinct told him to run over. He'd even dangled his car keys in front of Fang Zhou on purpose, then used Andrew's account to suggest he'd catch a ride with a classmate. But Fang Zhou shot it down, said he wasn't close enough with anyone that asked for a ride. That's when it hit Song Yuanxin. All the warmth Fang Zhou had was saved for Andrew. He dragged a limp home alone, then spared a single glance for someone named Song Yu. It stung. That night he ended up having a few too many drinks with some friends. The second he got home, he messaged Fang Zhou, asking if he made it back okay. Fang Zhou replied, pitiful as ever, but the bags were so heavy, I barely made it. He sent a picture along with it. Look, the sharp slash marks on my wrist. Song Yuanxin's head was a little Should have just taken my car when you had the chance. And then half out of it. Looks like someone tied you up. Next time I'll drive you to the store. Fang Zhou's face went red. Andrew, you're so bad. Song Yuanxin sure knows how to play it smooth. On one hand, he wanted to see Fang Zhou looking all decent, but on the other, he played it cool. Fang Zhou instinctively pulled his robe tight. I've only ever dressed like this for you. You're not jealous, are you? Song Xin's face turned red, then he quickly changed the subject. He asked if Fang Zhou cooked a lot at home. Fang Zhou nodded. The kitchen's just way too small. Song Yuanxin casually mentioned that his kitchen was huge. Fang Zhou scratched his head. Oh yeah, what? Are you trying to get me to come cook for you? How Yuanxin froze for a second. He hadn't figured out what to say yet. Fang Zhou deliberately dragged out his words. Or maybe you just want to lure me over to your place. Either way though, I'm totally down. In that, Song the smooth talker actually got jealous. If those words were meant for me personally, I'd go pick him up right now. The next morning at work, Song Yuan noticed Fang Zhou hadn't shown up. He just had to keep me up until midnight chatting, and now he's definitely still in bed. Around noon, heading out for lunch, Song Yuanxin ran right into Fang Zhou, who was rushing down the hall. He instinctively caught him in his arms, and Zhou looked up in a panic. Everyone around them froze at the sudden collision. One guy, a total kiss up, was about to lay into Fang Zhou, but one sharp look from Song Yuanxin shut him right. He backed away a few steps, completely questioning reality. Am I seeing things? Did Song Yuanxin just warn me to keep my mouth shut? Fang Zhou was also stunned by Song Yujia. I'm so sorry. I was running and didn't see you. Was practically on the verge of tears. Not only was Song Yuanxin not angry, he actually helped pick up the books. For Fang Zhou, that was honestly the last thing he expected. Song Yuanxin had just gotten downstairs when he got a message from Miu. That classmate who always hated me suddenly did a complete 180. I bumped into him just now, and he actually helped me pick up my book. The class in question of everyone doing the hating was absolutely speechless. All he could manage is a weak congratulation. Everyone watching was totally confused. Since when did the usually cold and untouchable Song Yuanxin turn into such a Fang Zhou was working late again today, and didn't finish until well after dark. What if I run into that stalker on the way home? Maybe I should just crash in the lab tonight. It's not like anyone else is here anyway. Just then, his phone buzzed. Asking if she'd be safer just sleeping in the lab. He waited a long time but got no reply. Then about half an hour later, the door suddenly creaked open. Fang Zhou looked up at the sound, and was stunned to see it was Song Yuanxin. He said something down, and left without a word. Same as always, sir. Song Yuanxin's only someone really exceptional. The kind of person you just naturally want to get close to. But I'm not asking to be his friend or anything like that. I just hope he stops shutting me out. A lover you meet online could be anyone. So why did it have to be you, Song Yuanxin? The moment the lights came on after being together, Every fantasy Fang Zhou had about Andrew shattered. She fought back the disgust rising inside, ran to the bathroom and couldn't stop throwing up, desperate to wash away every trace of Song Yuan's. Today was supposed to be a happy day. Fang Zhoumu was finally meeting Andrew, the guy she'd been dreaming about. She followed the address he gave her and headed to the hotel. She opened the door and found the room pitch black. She reached around for the light switch, when suddenly a very familiar voice called her name. Fang Zhoumu's heart jumped into her throat. I didn't want to startle you. Fang Zhoumu actually laughed. I already came all the way. What, are you worried I'll think you're ugly? Just then, she grabbed someone's arm and realized Andrew had been right there the whole time. She instinctively tried to step back, but he pulled her firmly into his arms. The whole room felt electric. Fang Zhoumu looked up, trying to make out Andrew's face, but he instinctively leaned back out of the way. Fang Zhoumu gave Andrew an annoyed shove. Fine, no lights, but why are you ducking away from me? Andrew stubbornly insisted he wasn't. Family was completely done with him, so she wrapped her arms around his neck and said, Now I get why you use dating apps. Because you never make the first move. First-time lovers are like dry kindling. One tiny spark and the whole thing goes up in flames. Skipping over the part nobody needs to see. Fang Zhoumu leaned close to Andrew and said, If you won't turn on the lights, at least let me feel your face. He quietly leaned in. Sharp brows, strong cheekbone, chiseled features, definitely a seriously good-looking guy. Fang Zhoumu couldn't help herself and gave him a quick kiss, skipping another part nobody asked for. Andrew sweetly helped Fang Zhoumu get dressed and told her there was something couldn't keep blind her about. He stood up and turned on the light. Fang Zhoumu had her eyes shut. And why are you making such a big deal out of this? But when she opened her eyes and saw Song Wangpian's face, the color drained from her face instantly. Her lips moved a few times, but she couldn't get a single word out. Then she suddenly bolted up. Song Wangpian had imagined every possible reaction Fang Zhoumu might have when she found out the truth. Maybe she'd slap him across the face. Maybe she'd take a photo and blast him online. He thought he'd prepared himself for the worst, but he never imagined the reality would leave her this devastated. The catfish finally dropped his mask, waited until he'd almost gotten everything before turning on the lights. The moment Fang Zhoumu saw his face, the light just went out of her eyes. The physical and emotional disgust hit her all at once, and she ran to the bathroom, dry heaving uncontrollably. Song Yuan-sung himself couldn't really explain it either. Andrew 样样不如他，他也比 Andrew 更适合方昭木。But I think he was still wrong, no matter what. Because out of a million ways to be friends with Fang Zhoumu, he chose to do it through deception, hiding behind the fake. 我真正喜欢的人是 Andrew, not this wolf in sheep's clothing standing right in front. Heartbroken and defeated, Fang Zhoumu wiped her tears and pushed the door open to leave. Song Yuan-sung followed her out, worried. The hotel lobby was packed with people, and the sky outside had turned dark. A storm was rolling in. Fang Zhoumu's head was pounding. Guess she'd have to tough it out here for the night. 2 rooms from the start. Fang Zhoumu looked up at Song Yuan-sheng, but her mind had completely shut down. His words went in one ear and out the other. More and more people were flooding into the lobby from every direction. Fang Zhoumu was not doing well mentally, and the sight of the surging crowd sent a wave of panic through her. She grabbed her suitcase and headed for the door on her own. Song Yuan-sheng's heart ached watching her light up, and he had no choice but to follow her out of the howling wind and driving rain hit them both in the face, nearly knocking Fang Zhoumu off her feet. Song Yuan-sheng grabbed her to steady her, but the moment she got her footing she pulled away. He pulled out his phone to find the nearest inn. There was only one room left, but just as she was about to book it, her sister called on a voice call. 我爱你. Fang Zhoumu, I love you. Her sister's voice was sweet, but Fang Zheng was in no mood, so she said a few words and hung up. Maybe her hands were too wet to hold on, because her phone slipped and hit the ground. When she picked it back up, she found it wouldn't turn on no matter what she tried. Fang Zhoumu just stared at the blank screen, her mind completely empty. Yun-sung saw it all and felt a pang in his chest, so he put his arm around her. Moo, the wind and rain out here are brutal. Let's just head inside for now. Stay out of it. Fang Zhoumu shook his arm off, stubborn as ever. Song Yuan-sheng kept his patience, and gently kept trying to comfort her. It took a lot of effort, but he finally coaxed her into the inn. He was about to run up and grab the room key, so he doubled back, grabbed her suitcase, and only then rushed off feeling a little more. 走不了本来心就挺烦。Under normal circumstance, Andrew 见面后也会像他们一样幸福吧。Andrew 换成任何人我都能接受。But why did it have to be him? Just then, Song Yuan-sung walked over and handed Fang Zhoumu a room key. Fang Zhoumu asked him for his bank account number, then walked straight into her room without looking back, completely ignoring Song Yuan-sung's concern, and slammed the door shut.